People have asked me why I do what I do. And I don't mean necessarily, they're not asking me why I make videos and upload them onto YouTube talking about preparedness. The reason I do that is because I think the message is important, and I enjoy being part of a community. If you're watching this video right now, you're part of that community as well. Really more what they're referring to when they ask me why I do what I do. They're referring to, why are you a prepper? Why are you into preparedness? And sometimes they'll want to know, what led me to have the preparedness mindset. A lot of people that I work with and family and people around me, they do know. I've been doing this for quite a while. The main reason is this is going to sound kind of mundane, but, I want to be prepared if something happens. And history shows you something always happens. Whether it be a winter storm like we had here in Texas in February of 2021, or if it's a hurricane that happens along the East Coast and the Florida Panhandle and the Texas Gulf Coast. Those happen every year. Fortunately, they don't happen the same place every year, but there's been quite a few hurricanes that have done a lot of damage. We've seen economic swings. I've seen a couple in my lifetime, and I think now that I'm better prepared to ride out the one that we're currently facing. And honestly, when you think about why you should be prepared, I'll just say this: if you follow the Bible and you've read the Bible, there are key instances there that tell you the same thing, that you should be prepared. Now, there are two different types of preparedness. There is the most important type of preparedness is being prepared for the return of Jesus. But there's also the type of preparedness to get you through a tough time. Okay, first one that comes to mind is Noah. Now, God spoke to Noah and told him to build a boat because he was going to destroy the earth. And Noah went and told the people of his day what God had told him, and they scoffed at him. Now, I don't know if you realize this or not, but those people had 120 years while Noah was building the boat in preparation of the great flood and gathering the animals and getting everything ready. 120 years, and the people didn't listen to him, and we all know how well that ended for them, because they didn't listen to what Noah was saying. They did not hear the message, and they did not take heed to it. So they perished. Same thing in the story of Joseph, when he was with Pharaoh in Egypt. It had the vision, had the dream, and God had told him to tell Pharaoh to prepare for 7 years of famine. And they had 7 years to do it. So Pharaoh listened, and Joseph was in charge of it, and they stockpiled the grain and the wheat and everything that they needed, and they made it through that famine, because in that instance, Pharaoh listened and the people listened, and they were prepared. And there was another instance. It includes John the Baptist. He was proclaiming, "Prepare for the kingdom," and sure enough, some did. A lot more didn't. But of course, that's with when Jesus came to the earth. So there's biblical reference as to why you should be prepared. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a prophet. Far from it. There are a lot of people that are putting out the get prepared message. And I don't know how many times, how many different ways, how many graphics, and how many How many times do I have to tell you, and do others have to tell you, that you need to be getting food, getting water, getting medical supplies, getting the tools, getting the skills that you need, getting prepared for what's coming. And this is a universal message. This is a timeless message, if you will. I could be saying this back in 2005, 6, or 7, saying get prepared, have your food, have your fuel, have your medical, have your water, have the things that you need, because the crash happened. Same thing back in the late 90s, getting ready for the dot-com bubble burst. Back in the 80s, when they had the high inflation, it goes on and on and on, where you can take this message and pop it down anywhere in the timeline of the last 100 years. I say 100 years because I think prior to that, more and more people were stockpiling food and water and tools and stuff that they needed. Whereas now we're in this just-in-time inventory type of mode where people don't. If they need something for dinner tonight, they'll just run down to the big box grocery store and pick it up. Well, you can't do that. You can during times of plenty, but we're not in that. Skyrocketing prices, the price of fuel. You just can't do that now. You need to be preparing, and that's what I'm lamenting here, is that how many times do myself and other great channels out there have to keep saying the message? Now, without a doubt, I'm sure if you're watching this message, you get it. You're doing the things that you need to do. There's so many people that don't. And getting back to the fact that a lot of people that I know that I'm into preparedness, they still don't. They don't. They still live from paycheck to paycheck and from hand to mouth, and they're suffering for it. And sometimes you just can't make people understand. I guess that's really the whole heart of the matter. You just can't. You can buy them books, send them to school, and they still won't learn to read. They still won't learn what they need to learn. It is frustrating. I continue to do it because I think it's an important message. So this kind of goes back as to why I do make the content that I make, because I do think it is an important message, and maybe somebody will stumble across it. And I have had that happen in the past, where I've been interacting with other channels that are non-prepping channels, and they've kind of alluded to the fact that, yeah, I kind of see that you're a prepping channel, and we're kind of doing that too on the side, although it's not what their channel is about. So that's encouraging to know that some people are getting it and are snapping to and are taking the steps that they need to take, because if everybody did that, just imagine how strong everybody and how strong this country would be, and they'd be able to weather through these types of crises that seem to cycle through every 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, you've been around long enough. You've seen how these crises cycle through, whether it be the economic or the storms or stuff like that. It does happen. But the main thing is that I'm going to keep with the message. This is my message, and I want you to be informed so that you can be prepared. I think that's important. But sometimes it just really gets frustrating, but I'm going to hang in there and do it because that's what I do, and I enjoy doing it. You guys leave me a comment down below. Have a blessed day. Thanks.